In this jar, I have the element bromine. One of the most interesting properties of bromine is that it is liquid at room temperature. There's only one other element that's liquid at room temperature, and that happens to be mercury, the liquid metal. Now, that's not to say that you can't have other metals or elements be liquids. They can be liquefied if you heat them up, for example, but at room temperature, the temperature of around, say, 295 to 300 Kelvin, around 25 Celsius, around 70 degrees Fahrenheit, most elements are solids. A few of them are gases. Now, bromine also has another interesting property. It's very red. It's kind of a really neat blood, deep red color. And it also vaporizes very easily at room temperature. This is called volatility. It's a very volatile substance. You'll notice up here that the glass looks orange, but in fact that glass is clear. That is bromine gas. So one of the properties of bromine is it's very volatile, but also it has a colored gas, which is very, very unusual. Most gases are colorless. If you look through the air right now, you're looking at oxygen gas, doesn't have a color. Nitrogen gas doesn't have a color. One of the demonstrations that I'm doing is hydrogen, colorless. Helium, colorless. We burn some methane, it's colorless. So most gases don't have a color, but bromine does. And in fact, that's a characteristic of its other family members. The group 17 elements are called the halogens, and they all have a colored gas. Fluorine is kind of a yellowish color. Chlorine is a little yellow-greenish color. And now, we just saw bromine, but let's also look at iodine. Now, at room temperature, iodine is a solid. It's a crystalline solid. It looks kind of a grayish, maybe kind of a little purplish hue to it. And it has a very interesting property that when you heat it up, it skips right over the liquid stage and goes straight to the gas. So if I look here under the chemical hood, you'll see some iodine being heated up. And what you'll notice if I take this lid off here is a purple gas will emerge. There we go. So iodine vaporizes and becomes a purple gas. It skips right over the liquid stage. We call that sublimation. But if I take some of this iodine and I pour it out, what I get is a gas. I don't get liquid being poured out. In fact, where it cools off there on the edge of the glass, it turns right back into solid. You can see the iodine crystals there on the glass. So an interesting property of the halogens is that they have colored gases, unlike most other gases.